Hi guys, this is Shelli from Market My Words, and this is part 2 of author branding. In the first part, we talked a little bit about just some of the different definitions of various parts of branding, and I gave you a little exercise to do at the end. So in this part, we're going to pick up on that exercise and start talking about some ways that you can start creating your author brand online. So the first thing is to think about what kind of writer you want to be. Are you going to be a paranormal writer with suspense, or are you going to be a comedy writer, or are you going to be a combination of the both? And the reason why this is important is because what type of writer you're going to be and what type of author you're going to be is going to drive your author brand as you move forward. The second thing is to think about what type of colors and fonts and images or themes you feel identify yourself as an author or a writer. And your author brand, as you create that online, will be centered around those colors and themes, and you will use those consistently going forward. So for example, if you're a comedy writer, you'll use probably more brighter colors, but if you're more of a suspense writer, you may use some darker colors, but also use the ones that appeal to you. Font size, to think about the font size and the font type as well. If you notice in Twilight, they use daggers for their font, and that relates into the vampire theme. So those are all things to think about when you're creating your author brand. The next thing to think about is creating an online presence. And the first thing you need is a website. I feel everyone needs a website, especially since we're writing for children and they are always online. So you need to have some type of web presence, and you can do that whether you're published or not published. If you're published, obviously you have a lot of things to put on your website. Events, contacts, how people can reach you, your book synopsis. If you're unpublished, you can still put some blurbs about your book on there and use it more as a sales tool or an information tool for agents and editors. The next thing you want to do, when you're doing your website, you want to use those colors and the fonts and the themes and the images that you've already identified and kind of create your website around that, and know that that theme or that look is going to follow you forward as you push out your author brand. So the next thing we're going to talk about is social networking. It's important when you're creating an author brand and you're getting into social networking while you're creating an online presence is to choose those few things that you feel are in alignment with you as an author and that you feel like you're going to do really well and participate in. So I suggest picking one or two things, whether it's blogging or Twitter or Facebook or Ning or TeenFire, whatever works for you and whatever is going to be at your best advantage, and do those things really, really, really well, as opposed to doing them half-ass. Oh, I don't think I could see. Beep. Not half-ass, like half good. So some keywords to think about when you're doing your online branding is visibility. If you're going to create an author brand and you want to roll it out online, you need to make sure that whatever social networking sites you choose, that you're visible. And for example, if you use Twitter, then maybe get on Twitter every day and maybe do a blog a couple days a week. At least then you're visible and people see you, and you're not just popping in randomly. You want people to remember you online. You want them to remember your look, you as an author, and see that you're active. The next keyword is consistency. It's important to be consistent when you're around your author branding, because your website and your Twitter page or your Facebook page, they should all look like it's coming from the same person. You want people to identify you by your brand. So for example, if you have a profile picture, use that same profile picture in each of the places so that people recognize you. The same colors in different places. Your Twitter background may look this, or you would want that to look the same as your website. Your blog background could look the same as your Twitter background. So use those colors and images and themes that we talked about at the beginning of this and roll those through all of your aspects online as you can so people can identify you. And the last thing I want to talk about to remember when you're doing author branding is quality. I think some authors make a big mistake of not putting either the time or the money into creating their author brand up front, and sometimes the materials come across as cheap or just not as high caliber as you might want to be, and that can sometimes give the impression that you don't take yourself seriously, or that you don't take your website seriously or your brand seriously. So I would suggest either learning how to do these things yourself, or finding someone who can do some design work for you and cutting corners in other places like printing. GoDaddy, you can create your own website. You can get someone to design it and then you can update it yourself. You could get someone to design your business cards and then print them yourself. So there are ways to put some money into your branding, not too much money, because obviously we all don't make a lot of money, but and save money on the back end. But that's the way that people are going to see you, so you need to present yourself in the best way. It's kind of the difference of buying a new outfit to dress up, or schlumping it up to a conference in torn jeans and flip-flops. Like, you get a different perception, and that comes across on websites as well. So that is a little bit more about author branding, and if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments, and I'll come back and try and answer them as I can, and I hope this was helpful. Have a good day.